There are things no one will ever know about you. Here's why. Let's start with something you've probably never fully considered. No one will ever truly know you. Not your partner, not your closest friend, not even your family. Think about that for a moment. The entirety of your thoughts, your experiences, your desires, your fears, most of it will remain locked inside your mind, untouched and unseen by anyone else. And that's not just true for you, it's true for everyone. This realization is both deeply unsettling and profoundly beautiful. On one hand, it highlights the inherent loneliness of human existence. On the other, it reveals the incredible mystery of individuality. You are a universe unto yourself, as vast and unknowable as the cosmos. And yet, despite this, we spend our lives trying to bridge the gap, trying to be understood, to connect, to share parts of ourselves with others. But no matter how much we share, there will always be something left unsaid, something that no one else will ever fully grasp. Here's the question: why is it so hard to truly know another person or to let someone truly know us? Part of the answer lies in the limitations of language. Words are imperfect tools. They can capture ideas and emotions, but only in fragments. Think about the last time you tried to explain how you were feeling. Did the words you chose fully capture the complexity of your emotions, or did they feel like an approximation, a shadow of the truth? Now consider this: even if you could perfectly articulate your thoughts and emotions, the person listening would still interpret them through the lens of their own experiences. No one sees the world exactly the way you do. Your memories, your upbringing, your beliefs, all of these shape how you interpret reality. And because no two people share the exact same life, there will always be a gap between what you mean and what someone else understands. But the difficulty of being understood goes even deeper. There are parts of yourself that you don't fully understand. Think about your subconscious mind, the hidden layer of thoughts, impulses, and motivations that influence your behavior without you even realizing it. How can you expect someone else to understand you completely when there are parts of you that remain a mystery even to yourself?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
This is where the loneliness of individuality comes in. Each of us carries a private world inside our minds, a world no one else can fully access. And yet, we don't talk about this loneliness. We act as if true understanding is possible, as if someone else could ever truly get us. But deep down, we know the truth: being human means being alone, at least in some sense. Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt truly understood? Not just heard, but deeply, completely understood. If you've ever had a moment like that, it was probably fleeting. And that's okay, because the beauty of connection isn't in erasing our individuality, it's in celebrating it. The fact that we can never fully know each other doesn't mean we shouldn't try. In fact, it's the very reason we should. Every conversation, every relationship, every shared moment is an attempt to bridge the unbridgeable gap between two people. And even if we never fully succeed, the act of trying is what makes life meaningful. The weight of the unspoken: why some parts of you will always remain hidden. Let's explore something we rarely think about. There are parts of you that no one will ever see, not because they can't, but because you won't let them. These are the thoughts you bury, the feelings you suppress, and the truths you're too afraid to say out loud. We all carry secrets, not just the kind we keep from others, but the kind we keep from ourselves. And this unspoken weight shapes who we are in ways we barely understand. Why do we hide parts of ourselves? Why do we feel the need to lock certain truths away, even from the people we love the most? It's because we fear judgment, we fear rejection, we fear that if people saw the full, unfiltered version of who we are, they wouldn't accept us. And maybe we're right, maybe they wouldn't. But here's the paradox: by hiding parts of ourselves to avoid rejection, we create a new kind of loneliness, a loneliness that comes from never being fully known. Think about it. How much of your life is spent performing? Smiling when you don't feel like it, saying yes when you mean no, pretending to be okay when you're falling apart inside. Over time, this performance becomes so ingrained that you start to lose track of where the mask ends and you begin. You wonder if anyone truly knows you, but how could they? The version of you they know is the version you've chosen to show them. Let me ask you, what part of yourself are you hiding right now? Is it a fear? A desire? A part of your past? Whatever it is, you're not alone. We all have things we don't share, things we're too ashamed, embarrassed, or scared to reveal. But here's the question: is the weight of carrying those secrets heavier than the risk of letting them out? Of course, not everything needs to be shared. Machiavelli once said, "He who wishes to be loved must learn to deceive." While this might sound cynical, there's truth to it. Relationships often rely on small omissions, a kind of selective honesty that keeps things running smoothly. If we were brutally honest all the time, would our relationships survive? Or would they collapse under the weight of too much truth? But there's a difference between small omissions and deep secrets. The latter don't just hide parts of you from others, they hide parts of you from yourself. The longer you suppress a thought, a feeling, or a truth, the more it festers in the dark corners of your mind. And over time, those hidden parts of you start to leak out in unintended ways. Maybe it's an outburst of anger. Maybe it's a quiet withdrawal from the people around you. Or maybe it's just a lingering sense of unease, like something's missing but you can't quite put your finger on it. Here's the hard truth: the parts of yourself you hide don't disappear. They grow. They shape your behavior, your relationships, and your sense of self, even if you're not aware of it. And until you confront them, they'll continue to weigh you down. But confronting these hidden parts of yourself isn't easy. It requires courage, the courage to be honest, not just with others, but with yourself. It means asking hard questions, like what am I afraid of? What am I ashamed of? And what would happen if I stopped hiding? It also means accepting that not everyone will understand you. Some people can't handle the full truth of who you are. And that's okay, because the goal isn't to be understood by everyone, it's to be understood by the ones who matter. But here's the deeper challenge: can you understand yourself? Can you sit with the parts of you that are messy, complicated, and imperfect without trying to push them away? Because until you do, you'll never feel fully at peace. So, here's the takeaway: some parts of you will always remain hidden, and that's okay. But the more you embrace those parts, the more you share them with the people who deserve to see them, the lighter your burden will feel. Because at the end of the day, hiding might protect you from rejection, but it also keeps you from connection. The mystery of individuality, why no one can fully understand you and why that's beautiful. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on an extraordinary truth: you are the only version of you that will ever exist. Think about that. The way you experience the world, the memories you carry, the specific combination of your thoughts, feelings, and desires, these are uniquely yours. No one else can ever step inside your mind and see the world exactly as you do. And while this might sound isolating, it's also profoundly beautiful. Your individuality is a mystery, one that even you can't fully solve. But it's this very mystery that makes you irreplaceable. The fact that no one can truly replicate your inner universe is precisely what makes you, you. But here's the paradox: as much as we cherish our individuality, we long to be understood. We want someone to say, "I see you, I get you," and when those rare moments of connection happen, it feels magical. But why is it so hard to sustain that feeling? Why do we so often feel like no one truly sees the real us? The answer lies in the nature of individuality itself. No matter how deeply someone loves or understands you, their perspective is always limited by their own experiences. They can try to empathize, but they'll never fully inhabit your mind. And that's not a flaw, it's just the way human connection works. Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt completely seen by someone? Maybe it was a fleeting moment, a conversation where you felt like someone truly understood you. But even in those moments, there are always layers of you that remain unseen. And that's where the beauty of individuality comes in. The fact that no one can fully know you means that there will always be parts of you to explore, parts of you to share, and parts of you that remain a mystery even to yourself. This is what makes life so endlessly fascinating. You are both the subject and the observer of your own existence, and that duality is what keeps us searching, growing, and connecting. But here's the thing, the mystery of individuality isn't just about you, it's about everyone around you too. Just as no one can fully know you, you can never fully know someone else. Every person you meet is carrying their own hidden world, filled with thoughts and experiences you'll never fully understand. And that's incredible when you think about it. We often take people at face value, assuming we know who they are based on what they say or do. But how much of their inner world are they hiding? How much of their story have they never shared? Every single person you meet, from your closest friend to a stranger on the street, is a living, breathing mystery. Let me ask you, how often do you truly try to understand someone else? Not just their words or actions, but the deeper layers of who they are. We get so caught up in our own lives that we forget everyone else is as complex, as layered, and as unknowable as we are. This realization can change the way you see the world. Instead of feeling disconnected from others, you start to see the beauty in the gaps between us. You realize that the mystery of individuality isn't something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Because it's in those gaps, in the spaces where we reach out to connect, despite our differences, that the most meaningful moments of life happen. Imagine if we could approach every relationship, every interaction, with this sense of wonder. Instead of trying to fully understand someone, we could simply appreciate the fact that they, like us, are a mystery. We could embrace the fact that connection doesn't require perfect understanding, it just requires curiosity, empathy, and a willingness to try. So, here's the takeaway: no one will ever fully know you, and you'll never fully know anyone else. But that's not a flaw of human connection, it's the foundation of it. The mystery of individuality is what makes relationships so endlessly fascinating. It's what keeps us reaching out, sharing pieces of ourselves, and discovering new layers of the people we love. The connection in the unknown, how loneliness and mystery bring us closer together. Here's a paradox worth exploring: the very thing that makes us feel alone, our individuality, our unknowable inner worlds, is also what connects us to one another. Think about it. Every person you meet is carrying their own secret universe, their own struggles, their own joys. And though you'll never fully understand their experience, the simple fact that they're navigating the same human condition as you creates a profound bond. We're all lonely in some way. Even surrounded by friends or family, there's always a part of us that remains unshared, misunderstood, or hidden. But instead of seeing this loneliness as a curse, what if we saw it as a bridge? What if the very fact that no one will ever fully know us is the reason we seek connection in the first place? Let me ask you, when you feel lonely, what is it you're longing for? Is it someone to completely understand you? Or is it simply the act of being seen, heard, and valued, even if they can't grasp the entirety of who you are? The truth is, no one can fill the gaps in your soul but you. But that doesn't mean the connection is meaningless. It means connection is about sharing what we can, even if it's incomplete. This is where the beauty of human relationships lies. When we connect with others, we're not trying to erase our individuality. We're not trying to become one mind or one soul. We're simply saying, here's a piece of my world. Let me see a piece of yours. And in those moments, those fragments of understanding, we find meaning. But here's something we often forget: connection isn't about perfect understanding. It's about mutual recognition. It's about looking at someone else and saying, I see you trying. I see you struggling. I see you struggling. I see you existing in a way that's both different from me and exactly the same. Think about the last time you felt truly connected to someone. Maybe it was during a deep conversation, a shared laugh, or even a quiet moment of just being together. What made that connection meaningful wasn't that they fully understood you, it was that they tried. It was that they cared enough to meet you where you were, even if they couldn't see the whole picture. And here's the most profound truth: connection isn't about solving loneliness, it's about sharing it. When we acknowledge that everyone carries their own hidden struggles, their own unspoken fears, we stop feeling so alone in our aloneness. We realize that loneliness isn't something to fix, it's something to embrace as part of being human. This is why the mystery of individuality isn't something to mourn, it's something to celebrate. The fact that no one will ever fully know you means you'll always have something to share, something to discover, and something to learn. And the fact that you'll never fully know anyone else means the people in your life will always remain a source of wonder and fascination. But there's one more layer to this: connection requires vulnerability. It requires you to open up, to let people see the parts of you that you usually keep hidden. And that's terrifying, isn't it? The fear of being judged, rejected, or misunderstood is enough to make most of us retreat into our shells. But here's what Machiavelli or Nietzsche might say if they were here: vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. It's an act of courage to say, this is who I am, even if you don't fully understand me, and when you do that, something incredible happens. You give others permission to do the same. So, let me ask you one final question: what parts of yourself are you afraid to share? And what might happen if you let someone see them, not perfectly, but enough to create a spark of connection? The truth is, life is short, and the people around you are just as lonely, just as mysterious, and just as human as you are. Embrace the mystery, celebrate the gaps, and remember that the beauty of human connection isn't in erasing our individuality, it's in sharing it, piece by piece, moment by moment, until the loneliness feels just a little bit lighter. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.